Now, as I mentioned, I didn't grow up knowing a whole lot, and still don't feel like I do. At one point, I thought I was entitled to claim the name of Native American because I had this, a certificate. Yeah. My grandfather was a historian. He wrote our family genealogies, and at one point, 1984, he sent my sister and I membership certificates to the Etowah Cherokee Nation. Having traced our bloodlines, he was proud to inform us that we were actually entitled to membership in this tribe. So I added that to my list of ethnic background with some pride and maybe a little bit of beginning adolescent humility. Years later, I learned that this particular tribe is not actually recognized, at least not by the Cherokee Nation. It's on a list of fraudulent groups passing themselves off as tribes. And about them, the Cherokee Nation on a website says, false tribes distort genuine Indian history and to explain their very existence. And typically members know little about the true culture they claim to represent. So much for the certificate, right? And yet, I was still able to find it. It means something to me. The possibility of being connected. The possibility that maybe I wasn't all made up of people who slaughtered the first peoples of this nation. I knew I was a spiritual mutt, but knowing that bit gave me even more hope about what that muttdom might mean. But even the question that we set with today and the question raised up by this, the problem of purity, it too is part of the problem, both of honoring tradition and of creating new. You see, when we honor the dead, as I'm reminded and as I remind families when I officiate at memorial services, oftentimes we tend to either demonize them or deify them. They're purely bad or purely good. When we remember people, when we honor them at feasts and celebrations, we usually tell stories about our favorite qualities about them. Or we remember the damage they did to us. But they, like we, are mixed bags, impure, which is like life. And so we must find ways to both honor tradition and honor ancestors, as well as innovating, as well as removing the mask of a stereotype that is one or even only two-sided. We must choose and seek to embody fully and wholly who we are as oppressors and oppressed, as warriors and peacemakers. We must seek not a mask, but a full, whole, and authentic self. In closing, I would like to read a poem to you today entitled Ghost Supper by David Wojan. I was unable to determine in researching it whether it actually references the Native American tradition, but either way, it seems to speak to the same truth. Under the trellised arbor and our suppers over, in the memory I've found myself inside. I, not speaking, and beside us the river sidling softly by, and now the light will fade to moonlit water. And in memory, I work to make this lingering accurate and sweet. White Ozo and her hand that lifts the grapes first to her lips, then to mine. I may as well speak to moonlight as to her. And the walls of Bruges light up again, a costume, jewelry, pearl string, her profile and her shawl hugged tight against the breeze, in memory's flammable celluloid flaring and gone. Replaced by bread and grapes, a checkered tablecloth. The two chairs stare each other down, empty now, upon which moonlight flickered all night. The bread and grapes drip mist as dawn carves the morning with a chilly wind, slicing away both moon and fog. And now someone without a name appears. First, the fevered hands, dust devil quick, that grope for the food in vain, and then the pale light that shows the open mouth and rippling throat, white face on black water, sparrow flock fast its spiraling path. But the bread and grapes stay where they were, their smell tormenting this famished ghost, helpless to even lick away the dew that gathers on the grapes. Blue fluted sides of the wine glasses, dawnlight, everything dripping wet, and the chairs stare at each other alone. Sometimes on the river bank you can sense an odor of grapes or sex or memory. It swirls through the moonlit grass and now wakes someone always mute, someone without a body, weaving also through the half-lit grass, the hoarse wail of someone who cannot speak, who reaches out but cannot touch the grass, and only the nostrils flare. Now the dawn will break. Late autumn cold, to crave so endlessly the warmth, the blood-pulsing fingertip, the body to embrace, the pungent smells commingling, to rise like breath and slither through the trees and tangle every branch in this unappeasable longing, this endless lust for touch and smell which afflicts the dead. The souls in the trees face the gathering light. Other times, in the ground, the rain torments them.